This week on Pets Practice, Nigel takes to the water to help rescue a swan with a fishing hook and line in its foot. Lisa visits a wildlife sanctuary that burned to the ground in the 2009 bushfires and has now been completely rebuilt. Dr. Kevin talks to us about the not-so-nice rear end of our pet dogs. But first of all, Julija and Flick show us how to roll over in this week's Flick's Tricks.
Hello to you and your dog. I'm Julia and this is Flick, my beautiful border collie. We're here for Flick's Tricks training segment. Good girl. Tricks are always fun for dog and owner alike to show off with, and today's trick is sure to be a great one to add to your dog's building repertoire of tricks. We're going to take a look at training your dog to roll over. This skill requires your dog to roll over on the ground, so training on a surface that's comfortable and provides a bit of grip for your dog will be very important. You'll need lots of training treats, cut up into small pieces, and your clicker if you're using one. If you don't have a clicker, you can just use the word yes. My criteria for this exercise are for the dog to be down on the ground, to roll over completely and finish either in a down position or standing back up again. I would like the dog to perform the skill on a verbal cue or a hand signal. This skill can be performed by dogs of any shape or size, but best not to train it to a dog with back or hip problems. It's also important to note that some dogs don't like being on their backs exposing their bellies and will resist greatly. I'd like to welcome my rookie dogs and their owners. We've got Emily with Melody, we've got Kaya with Jex. So we're going to start off with the roll over trick by putting some food into our hand and using it like a magnet to the dog's nose. To start with our dog in a lie down position, I like to see if I can draw my dog's nose all the way to its shoulder. From there, following the line of its collar, yes, all the way around. And then once the dog completes the skill, marking with yes and giving the reward. So I'll just demo that again. The dog down at this level, I draw the food around to the dog's shoulder and follow the line, yes, of the dog's collar all the way around. So pretty much drawing the food to the dog's shoulder and then from there following that collar line all the way around.
Animal Rescue, Nigel speaking.
Animal Rescue, Nigel speaking.
Animal Rescue, Nigel speaking. What do we got, Marianne?
We got the swan entangled in fishing line.
Right, it's one of these two, is it?
Yeah, it's a female.
Where's the line? I can't see it.
Come around here, you can see it. It's her left leg.
It's around the leg, is it?
Yeah, she's hooked up.
Right, so she's not able to swim properly or anything?
Well, she can move around, but she can't weight bear.
Right.
Leg, you can see part of the line here.
Oh, yes, I can.
Yeah.
Oh, nasty.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
No, it's not. And you've been trying to get her for a little while now, have you?
A couple of days.
A couple of days now.
Weather hasn't helped either.
Right, well, we've brought the boat down, so we'll get the boat off and get the boat in, and shouldn't be too hard to capture her. Oh. Okay, all aboard. Okay, now we've got to go out and find where these swans have gone to. I think somewhere down here. Okay, well now that we've found them, we've got the swans directly in front of us. We're just going to herd them up towards the sand and do the capture up there, I think.
Oh, she is going to do a run up.
That is the one we want?
Yeah,
that's the one we want? Okay, we're going to have to... She has. Away. good, Marianne, not good. Not the sort of situation I like this. It makes it very, very difficult to capture. Now she's starting to slow down already on the water, not going as far. So I don't want to go, I'm going to stay away from the young ones now. And that's waterlogging her a little bit as well. I really hate these difficult rescues where we've got to, you know, stress the bird to a degree to be able to get close enough to be able to capture them. I really like being able to do it nice and quick, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Okay, she's really starting to struggle now. So I'm going to come around the other side of her and do a bit of an S.
As you may recognise, this is my dog Macy. She's a 3-year-old Airedale Terrier. Now today I'm going to be talking to you about anal glands, certainly the least favourite part of my job and something I know dogs don't enjoy either. Anal glands are a pair of glands situated in their bottom that many thousands of years ago, when our dogs' ancestors were wolves, they used to serve a purpose, which was to mark their territory. Now, as our dogs have changed and become smaller, these anal glands serve no useful purpose at all. In fact, they can be very frustrating to deal with and they can be bothersome for the dog. Anal glands fill up with a secretion that should, when the dog goes to the toilet, should pass in their feces. Now, what happens most of the time is that these anal glands don't secrete, they fill up, they get itchy, and you very well may have noticed your own dog doing this, they can rub their bottom along the ground. There are sometimes a couple of other reasons for dogs to rub their bum along the ground, including tapeworm infections or sometimes just skin allergies. But what I urge you to do is, if you do notice your dog scooting, as we call it, take he or she to the vet and have their anal glands examined. The reason I say this is because firstly, it can be a very simple sort of exercise and can cause or can alleviate discomfort almost immediately if they are expressed. However, there are a couple of more serious things that can be going on with those anal glands. First of all, they can be infected. They can be impacted, which means they can be at risk of bursting at almost any minute, or even more seriously, they can in fact turn into cancers. So what I'm going to show you today is actually how to express these anal glands. I'm sorry, Macy, I know you don't enjoy doing it, because it's something that you can do at home. For those that are a little less squeamish or want to continue the excellent relationship you have with your dog, you may prefer your vet to do it. So I'm sorry, Macy, I'm just going to go get a pair of gloves. So we're at the other less pretty end of Macy here, and what I'm going to do now is actually express her anal glands. Dogs have a pair of anal glands on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, and if you were to look at the face of a clock, they would be sitting at about 4 and at 8. Now, what I'm going to do is place my index finger into her backside and gently milk out her anal glands from the left and from the right. Generally speaking, although uncomfortable, it should not be a painful exercise for the dog, but rectal examinations are something no one enjoys. So here we go. Good girl, Macy. I'm sorry, I know. Good girl. Good girl. So Macy has been rubbing her bum a little bit the last couple of days on the ground, but they're not infected nor are they impacted, and they feel of normal size and consistency. It's okay, Macy. Good girl. I know, a bit uncomfortable. Good, all done. So Macy just had her anal glands successfully expressed, and luckily for her, they're not causing her too many problems. Macy, you can come around here now. Good girl. Excellent. There are some dogs that come to see me on a very regular basis and have to have their anal glands expressed every 3 or 4 months. The reason we do that is because if the anal glands don't get expressed, they can lead to infections, impactions, or even they can burst, which leads to some very, very painful abscesses. In dogs that have very frequent or troublesome problems, the anal glands can actually be surgically removed. Now, you're going to need to follow the advice from your veterinarian, but rest assured that if your dog is scooting their bottom along the ground, don't just presume it's worms, because most of the time it is an anal gland problem, and having them expressed, and it is something that you can learn to do, or your veterinarian will certainly do it for you, having them expressed will certainly alleviate the discomfort almost immediately. Good girl, Macy.
Oh, you're nearly there, Melody. So what you could do with a dog like Melody, who's taking her time in actually getting all the way over, is drawing it to her nose, the food from her nose round to her shoulder, and giving her the food there and saying, yep, I like that part. You're getting closer. I like that part. I'm going to click and reward that. Then once she lies down on her side, which she's almost going to do, there she goes, give her food for that. That's it. So she's getting closer and closer with each step. And that's one of the really important things to note with your training, is that you might not actually get the end goal to start with, but you are definitely getting little steps that are making you closer and closer to that end goal. So if you're having trouble with that food luring, little Melody likes to lie down on her side, but she's not really getting beyond that. What you could try is a little bit of manual guiding, all right? Again, this is one that's really important to note which way your dog's lying down. So as they tuck that foot under, some dogs will resist that little bit of a push over, all right? So I'm gonna push Flick over onto her side, and then you can just use these, lift up the front paws, yes, and easily roll the dog over onto their back. You can give that a try with her. Push her shoulder all the way down to the ground. That's it. And then just lightly lift those paws over. And she's quite happy with this. Look at that. She goes, give me a belly rub. And roll her all the way over. Yes. And then give her lots of money. Give her big rewards for that. How does Jex cope with a little bit of touching? Lift his paws and flip him up and over. And the roll over. There we go. Nice one. So you can try the food lure, or you could try that little bit of manual touch. Some dogs resist this skill greatly. Don't stress them out. If they don't want to do this skill, find another one instead.
This area is totally different from the way it was before the fires and after the fires. We're now into our 5th year, and I've never seen the land look so beautiful.
On February 7, 2009, the Black Saturday fires engulfed St Andrews, reducing what we see here to ash. Wildhaven Animal Shelter was lost in the blaze, but owner and carer Stella Reid says the land is recovering well.
10 acres of this was planted out as a pine plantation for a timber mill that's 80 years ago shut down. And now what stands there is the skeleton of the trees. Yeah. Pine trees don't regenerate. Only eucalyptus trees regenerate. So what the fires did, they've cleaned the land up. With that's come different birds, different insects, things that we've never seen here before, tiny little birds we've never seen before. I think it's taken it back to the way it was 100 years ago.
Well, there's a silver lining.
There's a silver lining.
Stella and her husband Alan rebuilt Wildhaven to continue their work in rehabilitating injured wildlife.
So these guys you've raised from
500 grams, yeah, orphans, wow. 500 grams. They're not related. They've all been raised together, and they're out here in preparation for the release. The youngest one's of 12 and the older one's 14
So
months.
They're still quite young.
They actually get released not on age, it's more on weight.
Oh, okay.
20 kilos is the weight we release them. So their time now is equivalent to about 2 o'clock in the morning for you. So they've been up all night playing, so now it's their rest time.
Gosh, not even I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wildhaven now shelters over 25 animals, each with their own unique personality.
I don't think I'm going to stay upright. I think I'm going down the wombat hole as well. Hey, am I?
Alan started to build this just after Black Saturday, and he wanted to build something special that we could use as a fire lookout, as a koala enclosure for the wombats, and we also use it for injured kangaroos.
Do you keep them all in here at the same time, or do you keep them separate?
No, they are kept separate. We can put a kangaroo in here with a koala, but we don't put anything else in with wombats when they're here.
Okay, is that because they're little bulldozers and they claim the place?
They're disrespectful to everything. If it's in their way, they'll move it, yes.
Okay, and so you've had these guys for a little while now.
A year and a half.
And how long until they're released? And
I'm going to show you, but they've actually dug out, and they can be free if they want to, and they've got a burrow in here other than this one, and they've also made a hole out, so I'll show you. If you looked at it and you put your hand in, it goes in and it comes round and under here.
Have you been down there?
I've gone as far in as my body will allow, and then reached around. Okay. In a fire, I'd go into it.
Would you really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would. Because it's underground, it's mud, it's damp on the edge, it's dry inside, and it turns and twists, which means the smoke and fire won't go in there.
Did a lot of wombats survive the fires because they had that escape?
Yes, and then after the fires, even though the ground was hot and they were burnt, the ground had been sterilised, so their wounds healed really quickly without medication. We've got one more job for you. Rubber gloves.
Don't tell me. I think I know what this is for. One thing's for sure, I better roll up these sleeves because there's a lot more work to be done.
Okay.
Got a Nigel?
Yep.
Oh, good stuff.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Mama. Thanks, Nigel.
Good job, well done. Well done. Oh, there's the hook just in the. Oh.
Yeah, she's needs antibiotics too.
Now, quite often when we get hook entanglements like this, quite often we find other hooks hooked up into the wings, under the feathers, so we've got to do a full examination of it and make sure that there's no other ones in there. I think the most I've found has been up to 4 hooks in one bird before.
She's feeling good. She wants to go.
She does want to go, she's very eager, she knows where she is. So this is what it's all about, getting them back out into the wild again. Take off, Mum. Success! Yay! Gotcha!
Lisa is visiting Wildhaven Animal Shelter, which was completely wiped out in the Victorian bushfires of 2009.
Her name is Wallace.
Wallace the wallaby.
Wallace, and this is Princess. She's an eastern grey.
How much do they weigh?
Just over 1 kilo.
Oh wow, she doesn't feel it. She feels so much lighter than that.
You'd know it if you put some weight on, if you put 1 kilo on.
I'd notice if I put 1 kilo on.
Yeah.
So how often do you feed them a day?
They get fed 4 times a day, and the 4th feed's called a bonus feed. So if they're still hungry late at night, they get the 4th one. When they come in, they're weighed, and you work out 15% of their body weight, and that's what you give them. If you give them too much, they get diarrhoea.
Oh.
If you give them too little, anorexia could set in where their stomachs shrink.
Okay.
And that's really hard to undo.
And how old are they?
Oh, I think Wallace is about 3 months.
Okay.
And Princess is about 2.5 months. they'll grow up as friends and they'll stay as friends in the bush. As she grows, she'll be one to watch because she'll jump all over the furniture. But what she'll do is she'll teach her to do it.
Are you the cheeky child?
But there's a danger in that because if she falls, she'll break bones. When she falls, she lands on her feet. So it's equivalent cat and dog.
Right.
So she's got the agility of a cat at a very young age, whereas she doesn't.
Do you hear that? You're not allowed to be a bad influence in the house. After a bottle feed, it's time to play with the big kids.
You can see their little hands go out and he's cleaning her eyes and see how she's responding. She's feeling better in her heart. She's feeling that there's something around that's closer to her own. And that's everything about that is the fact that they're little mob animals and they live in groups.
So building that familiarity helps her to understand her place in nature as well when you release her into the wild.
It does. They're all orphans, so they're creating their own family.
It'll take around 2 years and $1,000 to ready each of these joeys for release into the wild. Since Black Saturday, Stella and Alan have raised around 140 kangaroos alone.
What's going on here? They've all come inside.
Welcome to the mob. So now you're part of the mob. You've been initiated. They've accepted you into it.
Many of these eastern grey kangaroos were brought to Stella as joeys and were hand-raised since, so they know a friendly face when they see one. And thank goodness, male eastern greys can grow up to 66 kilos and stand over 2 metres tall.
I'm mum and I'll always be mum to them.
Okay.
But when they get bigger, they, like teenagers, equivalent to a 16, 17-year-old, will get to a stage where they don't want anything to do with me, which is good.
They really are like humans, aren't they?
They are just like humans.
And how is that for you when they get to the stage where they don't want anything to do with you? Is that a little bit heartbreaking? Or
that's our goal.
If you'd like to come along and see these guys up nice and close like I have today, then you're more than welcome to visit Wildhaven for a small donation. And believe me, it is a lot of fun. Hey, that's it, you've eaten them all. The end.
Misty came to see me this morning. The owner was very, very worried. The owner noticed Misty last night crawling on her front legs, almost unable to use her back legs. And certainly on examination this morning, Misty is incredibly weak in her back legs. She doesn't have a great deal of pain perception in her back legs, and she has significant difficulty in moving them. There are lots of different things that could be going on, including the possibility of a ruptured disc in her back legs. What we're going to need to do is firstly give her some pain relief. She's quite uncomfortable. We're also going to need to take some x-rays of that lower back region to see what's going on. The owner did notice a few days ago that she fell off an item of furniture in her home. So there is the possibility that there's been some sort of traumatic event or some sort of fracture that we need to determine what's going on. So owner's left her in my care for us to organise some x-rays, and as soon as we've organised those, I'll be giving her a call, and hopefully it's all good news for Misty and something we can manage relatively simply. Good girl. I've just taken some x-rays of Misty's back, and the good news is she doesn't have any fractures present within her vertebral bodies or through her pelvis. And the other good set of news is that there certainly doesn't appear to be any evidence of bone cancer or bone tumours. Now, the most likely scenario is that Misty has an intervertebral disc that's bulging and putting pressure on her spinal cord. The first thing that does is causes pain, and then it goes on to cause paresis and even paralysis. With Misty, the plan or the treatment is going to be for her to be rested, for us to give her some very strong anti-inflammatory medication in addition to pain relief, and the vast majority of cats do respond to that treatment. Occasionally, they don't, and they need MRIs and sometimes even surgery for this condition to be managed. So I'll give Misty's owners a call with the diagnosis. She's probably going to stay with me for a couple of days so we can manage her condition and we can manage her discomfort levels. So let's give Misty's owners a call.